And in today's video, I want to talk about the infamous resting metabolic rate, right? Metabolism. I get a lot of questions about metabolism. I have done a bunch of videos on it, but I'm going to do another one. But before I get started, if you do like my videos, I have written a book, Are You Fat Making or Calorie Burning? So please buy it. You'll love it. Okay, let's get started. Resting metabolic rate, okay? That is basically a measure of how many calories, what your caloric expenditure is while at rest in a 24-hour period, okay? So resting metabolic rate. And so those are all of the calories that your body needs in a 24-hour period to meet its own needs and any needs that you place on it, okay? Now, people say, you can't change your metabolic rate by very much, if at all. Well, you know what? You can change it. Maybe not by a lot, but every little bit counts, right? Because your metabolic rate is your ability to burn calories. So I can eat, I eat a lot more calories than people ever think I do. They think, oh, she doesn't eat very much. She's not very big. But you know, I eat a lot of calories. But your metabolic rate is comprised of three things. Your basal metabolic rate, which is your basic metabolic rate, which is what your body needs to exist in a healthy way. It has to make enzymes, deal with hormones, it has to grow more bone, it has to repair organ tissues, whatever. Your heart has to beat, you have to, all the kind of processes going on in your body optimally. And the calories needed for that are about 70% of the whole 24-hour period. And then there are two other parts, and these are the interesting parts. You can't do too much about this, but these two you can. One deals with thermogenesis, which is an effect, a heat effect related to the food or the types of food that you eat. And this, if that's 70, these two run between 30. So this is about, depending on how you eat, 5 to 20% of this 100. Now, the final one is the physical activity that you get in a 24-hour period. It will affect your resting metabolic rate as well. And it will run, remember you have to have 30 in here, so it runs anywhere from 10 to 25, okay? Depending on what you do over here. Can't do too much about this, but you can change this. And what I'm talking about is something called an energy cost, okay? So this costs you energy, this costs you energy, and this will cost you energy. You obviously know about this, right? So these three things make up the caloric expenditure for your body for a 24-hour period. Now, you might wonder, what am I talking about when I talk about the heat effect of the food that you eat? Well, when you eat food, digest your food, it is a catabolic system. It is a system where it's taking big molecules and breaking them down into small molecules, okay? And that's catabolism. It's a part of metabolism. And what it does is it breaks that food down and then sends it out in little pieces as nutrients to your body. So obviously we're talking about protein, fats, and carbs, right? The three macronutrients. And they all have a heat effect when you eat them. But the interesting thing is, protein, for every 100 calories of protein you eat, 25% of those calories are going to be lost just digesting the protein. Whereas these fat and carbs will only cost you 5%. So protein is a very inefficient macronutrient for your body to break down. And that's why it has a higher heat effect and it will cost you more calories. That's why people say eat more protein if you want to help your metabolic rate. Now, exercise, you know, if you challenge your muscles, right, it's going to cost you some energy, right? You're going to have to burn more calories, and especially if you build up more muscle, because muscle is a calorie-eating tissue. Fat is just storage, but muscle is a totally different tissue, right? Think of your skeletal muscles. When you work them hard, they have to be repaired. So this is anabolism, right? It is a build up or repair system where you take small little molecules and you build them into big molecules, right? If you're repairing the fibers in your muscles. So this is an anabolic system, and digestion is a catabolic system. So you always need both in terms of metabolism. So how do you make this better? Well, first of all, you really shouldn't shock your body. Your body needs a certain number of calories to exist. So my basal metabolic rate is about 1,200 calories every day. Now, before I knew what I was doing, right? Yeah, I used to starve myself, 600-700 calories a day. So I was eating below my metabolic rate. Okay, so obviously I wasn't eating much in here, and I sure wasn't getting very much exercise. I had no energy. But when you eat below your basal metabolic rate, your body goes into a panic. It has to exist. It's your savior. So what does it do? Well, it's not getting enough calories, so well, it may as well not keep all that muscle you've got, because muscle needs calories. So whoosh, get rid of a bunch of muscle and get rid of a bunch of fat. But do you think that you're going to look great when you start fiddling around with your body tissue composition? It means that you're going to grow your body fat percentage. You know, and I see a lot of women, right? They've got all this hanging skin, and they may weigh a lot less because they're only interested in the scale, but they're not healthy. They have a much higher body fat content than muscle because they are starving themselves. Now, what I would say here on food, eat a lot of protein. And if you are going to adjust your food, you know, do it very kind of gradually, you know, up your protein a little bit and lower your carbs a little bit. Your body then never panics. It doesn't notice anything kind of out of whack, and it just carries on with its processes and is not being surprised or panicked, okay? And it keeps itself well balanced with hormones and enzymes and all that. And of course, physical activity, well, I would say, and you know I'm a personal trainer, I would say lift weights, build muscle, because muscle burns calories all the time, every hour, every day. It needs calories to exist, okay? So you can end up eating a lot more if you eat a lot of protein with every meal, and if you do some weightlifting, all right? So just a really quick and dirty about metabolism, and I'll see you in the next video, and have a great weekend here in Toronto. It is fabulously hot, 30 degrees. I love it. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.